So I was going to do a very cool ride I was going to show you today, but I think I'm going to abandon it, and I'm probably never going to ride in this area again. So let me explain. So what happened was, I've only ridden in this place probably 4 or 5 times in my life, and it is a really cool ride. I would ride out from to Simi Valley and up something called Santa Susana Pass into the San Fernando Valley, and then come back and go around Simi Valley a little bit. It's about a 70-mile loop. Well, what I was gonna do, and I actually knew that this existed, I just honestly didn't know the extent of the problem, was where Santa Susana Road is, there's what's called the Santa Susana Propulsion Labs. And a long time ago, I thought, the Santa Susana Labs had some problems. It was one of the first nuclear reactor sites in United States. And what they did was they developed and researched jet fuel. And I thought it was back in the 50s and 60s, 70s maybe, but I remember hearing stories about people getting cancer in that area. And actually, when I first started in my practice, I'm a chiropractor, by the way, in the late 90s, I had a patient who had a strange thyroid cancer, and the doctors, she went to all the best doctors in the world, and they just never saw this cancer before. And she said it was from living in Simi Valley. And I just I didn't really research it. Actually, back then, I never had a computer until 1999. That was the first time I ever had a computer. So I was gonna do a story today about riding at Santa Susana Pass. Right at the base of Santa Susana Pass is something called Corriganville, where they filmed a lot of movies, westerns and stuff. I've actually, every year, I've done a cyclocross race there, which is really cool. And as I did the research, I found out that they really hadn't closed it until 1999. And there were numerous things that really were, I mean, I knew, but I didn't know the extent of it. One was that they used to dispose of the jet fuel. There were no regulations, so they just it just magically disappeared. And there were some stories about how they would have them in these tanks, and when the tanks would explode, it would just vaporize into the air. So what they would do is shoot guns into these tanks and cause an explosion, and you can imagine just the smoke of this jet fuel would go up into the atmosphere. And so they used the atmosphere as a dumping ground, much like sometimes they would dump stuff in the ocean. And you know, I'm in California, of course. I have a paddle board. I like to go out in the ocean. I don't want to know that the ocean is you know, toxic. But there are numerous natural lakes in the area, and I guess at a time it was so polluted that there were actually bubbles coming up, and it was steaming. There was a story of a guy who was in charge of a crew of about 27 scientists that worked at, it was Boeing, no, I'm sorry, it was Lockheed, no, it was Rocketdyne. Rocketdyne originally started that site, and then Boeing later took it over. And I guess there was a guy who was in charge of like 27 different scientists there, and 22 of those scientists died at an early age of strange cancers. And I guess the guy said some nights he would go home, kiss his wife after work, and like her lips would burn, almost like there was menthol on her lips. And so there were a lot of stories like that, and people that lived in Simi Valley got strange cancers. Kids were getting neurofibromas and just bizarre things. And the reason it was developed there in the beginning was simply because there was no one around. So naturally, you know, you want to do nuclear experiments and jet fuel experiments in a place where it's not highly populated. But I guess in the 50s, 60s, all of a sudden it just started getting populated, and the growth of people started intruding upon that area. So if you want to read about it, it's called the Santa Susana Propulsion Labs in Simi Valley. And after reading it, I got a weird feeling. I don't know if I want to ride there anymore. And I'm sure it's, you know, in theory it's fine, but there's been a lot of cover-ups. There's still ongoing lawsuits. So what are we going to do today? Well, we might go in the opposite direction. So let me get ready. Let's take off. I was just actually thinking that instead of going east to Simi Valley, I'm going to go west to Ventura. And a lyric just entered my mind, and I'm having a mental block and I can't remember who sang this. Darn it. It's a piano song, and it goes down staring at the Great Divide. And then here's how it got me. I could go east, I could go west, it's all up to me to decide. Then I saw a hawk flying and my soul began to rise. Oh, I hope. Who sang that? Tell me, because I'm gonna be riding for about 5 hours today, and I can't have that song stuck in my head the entire day. Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, help me out. I'm gonna have first breakfast. It's been about an hour. Usually I'm warmed up by now. Banana. All right, so I made it to Foothill. This is a cool road. It's a lot of fun, very little traffic. And I'm just starting to warm up, so brr. All right, let's get to Ventura. All right, so I'm in Ventura. Second breakfast, second banana. There have been some perks of the disease that shall not be named, and that is they closed all the streets, and it's just kind of a cool place to be now, you know. It's actually definitely bad for business, but good for cycling. Go figure. Okay, so this is Cañada Larga, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. I've been here once before, and it's just an out and back, kind of one lane road for a farming area. It's pretty cool. How I discovered this road was from Strava. There's some cows. And what happened was there was this guy who kept coming up this way, and I noticed that when I would ride with the cycling group that I ride with, that we'd always go blasting past this because we were on our way down from Ojai. And I saw this and I thought, where the heck does this go? Why does this guy keep going on this road? And he took such awesome pictures, you know? So finally came out this way, and I thought, fudge. I was gonna say something else. This is awesome. That is the windmill. And you could see there is absolutely no wind. The cow just stopped and looked at me.
Hi. I promise to eat more chicken. The secret way around Ventura is to go past this little small business called Patagonia. It's really a high tide. The water is coming right up to the walkway. All right, let's see what's next on the menu. Sierra Trail Mix. Yum. Last meal of the ride. Pulling out of the pocket. Fig Newtons. They stick to the roof of your mouth, which are awesome. I eat them 2 at a time, by the way.
Well, finally, I figured out the song. It's in a movie, The Mask. Remember The Mask with Cher and Sam Elliott? At the end of the movie, he decided to go east or west. It was none other than a Bob Seger song. Roll With Me. Fantastic song. I used to be into Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band back in high school. So that was a pretty cool ride. 72 miles, beautiful day, no wind at all. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm tired. Hey, I didn't even use my drink tab and I had 1 extra bar. Pretty good day.